If such is the case of a man with his wife, it is better not to marry. Matthew chapter 19, verse 10, part B, Good News Bible. Blessed everyone and welcome to our live stream. Again, this is your brother in Christ, Jose Roniboy Perez Cariaga. Muli na naman pong bumabati sa inyo ng isang mapagpalang araw, mapagpalang umaga. Sa ang dako man kayo naruroon sa mundo, anong oras, anong araw man niyo panuorin ang broadcast dito, ang pagpapala ng dakilang Diyos ang sumasa atin. At uulitin po natin for our few good men na ito ay a love that won't let go. At nandun nga po tayo sa making the invisible visible. Kagaya na pag-usapan po natin, ang month of August is Preacher's Appreciation Month. Have you appreciated your preachers lately? Okay. Inumpisahan po natin ang serye na ito para sa ating Preacher's Appreciation Month kay Joshua. And si Joshua, last week, nakita natin that he is a burning stick, snatched from the fire. Bago siya makonsume ng accusations, bago siya makonsume ng kanyang pagiging filthy and pagiging unworthy sa paglilingkod sa harapan ng Diyos, at the right time, right moment, he was snatched out of the fire, and then he was given a new turban, a clean cloth, and then made worthy to serve God again. At nakita nga po natin, kagaya ng maraming mga preachers, sabi nga natin, ang iba sa kanila is guilty as charged, kung sasabihin natin kung tawagin. Ang iba naman sa kanila is walang kaparaanan how to remove this filthy na nasa ulo, filthy na nasa katawan, filthy clothing and things like that. At nakita natin last week, hindi sa pagbabalik po natin doon muna, kundi nakita natin last week that the angel of the Lord or the Lord himself or God showed us paano gawin yan, paano magkaroon ng fresh start, paano magkaroon ng panibagong mindset, paano magkaroon ng panibagong pananaw. And unang-una, God dealt with the physical needs bago niya pinuntahan yung kanyang emotional, spiritual, and yung love needs. Burning stick snatched from the fire, that was Joshua. Ngayon, we will be dealing with Moses. At gusto ko sana gamitin natin si Moses for one reason or the other. At makikita natin. And siguro pwede natin gawin kay Moses kasi kilala naman natin, Mr. Do-It-All. Sapagkat lahat-lahat ng gawain ng buong Israel or buong bilang leader, ginagawa niya lahat-lahat. Or sabihin natin si Moses is the senior citizen type of leadership. Dahil alam natin na 40 years from tending the sheep or tending yung mga domesticated animals niya doon sa place ng kanyang biyanana si Jethro. Ngayon, 80 years old na itong si Moses and still God called him for leadership. So anong uring leadership yan? From 40 plus 40, 80 years old, senior citizen type of leadership kaya? Or nako, si Moses, maalala talaga siya. Nagiging controversial si Moses at nadadawit siya sa mga usapin ngayon because of the certificate of divorce law na ginawa niya. And we will be dealing with that as we move on. So, let me just remind you, kung siguro tatanggapin natin yung resume ni Moses or yung kanilang curriculum vitae, yan, or if you would like to look at Moses, hindi na dapat na maalala natin si Moses is the baby in the basket. Hindi na dapat. Kundi kung titingnan natin maigi yung resume ni Moses para makita natin kung worthy nga ba si Moses to give such a law, that certificate of divorce law. Gamitin natin yan ngayon at yan ang gusto kong talakayin natin. Dahil isa yan ngayon sa mga major na pag-uusapan ng mga preachers, pastors, ministers, and even Christians alike sa mga darating na mga panahon. Truth is, I was thinking na hindi ma-approve ito within 3 hanggang 5 years. Nasasabi ko nga sa mga estudyante ko, Alam niyo itong bagay na to, mangyayari siya siguro, there will be divorce dahil hindi ko pa alam yung nangyayari nung una, nung May ko kasi nabasa, hindi ko nakita yung third reading, approved na pala siya sa lower house. So, I was thinking that siguro 3 years from now or 5 years from now, pero parang hindi ganun eh. Parang mabilisan itong bill na ito. So, let's move on and look at Moses' resume. Sa education ni Moses, no question about it. Wala talagang magtatanong ng magtatangkang questionin ang kakayahan ni Moses, ang karunungan, kaalaman ni Moses. Ayon kay Dr. Lucas na nag-search diligently about these things and the certainty of these things, sabi niya, Moses was given the best education in Egypt. Best there was. He was a strong man, so physically fit, and a powerful speaker. Wow! Ang tindi ng description na yan na ibinigay ni Dr. Lucas sa kanya. Sa work experience naman ni Moses, makikita natin itong mga work experiences ni Moses. Being the prince of Egypt and being groomed to be the king or to be the next king, kung hindi man siya kagad-agad in succession, line of succession sa kanila, kasi nga namamana yun eh, may succession ng mga magiging pharaoh. But he's groomed to be the next king. He's groomed to be king. So makikita natin that Moses must have, hindi may have, kundi makikita natin na si Moses, mayroon siyang experience on being administrative function niya at saka yung kanyang executive function. Kaya marapat lang nandoon si Moses. So sa work experience din niya, yung kanyang past 40 years, nandun siya sa domestication of animals. Kaya marunong siya how to deal with these things. Marunong siya papaanong planuhin, padamihin tomato. Marunong siya kung papaanong alagaan ang mga ito free from mga predators. And one last thing, sama na natin sa kanyang experience yung kanyang survival skills. Dahil from being a fugitive, nakapag-survive itong si Moses at kaya niyang itago yung kanyang skills. Wala nakakilala sa kanya na he was once the prince of Egypt. So, tuloy natin. May ibang mga bagay-bagay pa sa resume ni Moses. Ang kanyang best traits will be, unang-una, tagapagligtas talaga si Moses. Savior. Second, defender of the oppressed, parang Superman, ano? And you could put there, human rights advocate si Moses. And the last but not least sa mga traits ni Moses is that he is fair. Let's talk about that. Being a savior, Acts chapter 7 verse 24 says, one day he saw an Egyptian mistreating one of them, one of the Jews. So he rescued the man and killed the Egyptian. Defender of the oppressed. Alam niyo ang kalagayan ng mga Hudyo doon sa Ehipto, they were mistreated, they were slaves, they were doing forced labors, and being an Egyptian prince, nakita niya that one of the Egyptians na nire-represent ng kanyang authority is mistreating one of his people. Hebrew or Jewish. So he killed and he rescued this man and killed the Egyptian. May ibang bagay pa makikita natin na defender of the oppressed itong si Moses. Maalala natin when the 7 daughters of Jethro, the priest of Midian, came up to water their father's sheep and goats habang nakaupo siya doon sa may balon. And some shepherds, mga lalaki, kasi itong mga babae, itong mga nag-aalaga dahil ang mga anak nga naman ni Jethro, mga babae, some shepherds tried to chase them away. Kahit na nauna sila sa pila kung tutuusin. Maalala ko pa noong nag-iigib pa ako ng tubig. Ano? Kailangan nakapila talaga yung mga mga lalagyan namin. And then may mga bully na gustong mauna magkaminsan, or may mga makikiusap naman na gustong mauna magkaminsan. But these shepherds, mga lalaki to, tried to chase them away. So Moses, wala namang nagpilit, wala namang nagsabi, o hindi naman humingi ng tulong ang mga kababaihang ito, came to their rescue. Voluntary, human rights advocate talaga to. And he is really fair. Came to their rescue and watered their animals. Hindi lang niya ni-rescue, hindi lang niya ipinagtanggol sila, kundi hindi rin nila ni-request. Isipin niyo na lang yung mga babae, ang mag-iigib ng tubig mula sa balon. At kung gaano kadami ang mga paiinumin na sheep. So ilang beses pabalik-balik yon. So kung mahina-hina si Moses, talagang manlulupay pa ito. Or kung mahina-hina ang katawan niya, siguro hindi niya kayang painumin lahat-lahat ng mga karnero na pag-aari ni Jethro. He's fair. Saan natin makikita ang kanyang pagiging fair? Hindi dito po nasusulat sa Exodus. I think doon natin makikita. Exodus chapter 32 verse 10 and the following. When God was so angry, dahil 40 days and 40 nights si Moses nasa taas, habang kinukuha niya yung law, yung tapyas, covenant. Then pagbaba niya, they were worshiping another God. Or they were worshiping yung calf. Ayon sa bersikulo, ito nasusulat, now don't try to stop me because these are stiff-necked people. Talagang ang description ng Diyos sa kanya. Kaya God there and then wanted to destroy all of them. Gusto niya patay na lang sila lahat-lahat doon at mag-umpisa siya ngayon ng kanyang panibagong lahi, panibagong mga tao, panibagong lineage through Moses. Look at these verses. Now, sabi niya kay Moses, don't try to stop me. The Lord is saying, I am angry with them and I am going to destroy them. Then, matapos niyang i-annihilate ang lahat-lahat ng mga yan, then, ang condition is, I will make you, Moses, and your descendants into a great nation. So, hindi sana tayo ngayon Abrahamic, magiging musical sana tayo ngayon. Kung pumayag si Moses. Pero hindi pumayag si Moses. In fact, nakiusap si Moses sa sinasabi niyang, Lord, huwag ka naman magalit. Lord, ano na lang sasabihin ng mga tao na nasa paligid? You brought us here only to destroy us. Lord, you who are rich in mercy. Tapos, hindi madaling magalit, madaling magpatawad. And so Moses appealed with that, the traits of God. So, hanggang umabot tayo sa verse 32. Sa verse 32, talagang makikita mo, galit na ang Diyos sa kanila. And Moses even said this, I beg you to forgive them. If you don't, ako na lang po ang patayin mo. What a trait, Willing to sacrifice himself. Hindi lang siya na willing to take their place, but this time, kung isang egotastic lang sana ito, kung isang gusto lang talaga is bida-bida o di kaya ay gusto lang talaga is self-honor, ite-take niya kagad-agad yan. So masisira ang buong plano. And then may bago sana tayong lineage ngayon, hindi sana Abrahamic seed, musical seed sana, Yet it was so good that this particular leader at the age of 80, yung kanyang senior citizen type of leadership is that walang ka-ego-ego, walang ka-pride-pride, Hindi inisip na, lahi ko nga masusunod. In fact, baka di niya narating ang promised land, but that is going too much further down the road ng ating pag-aaral. He was willing to sacrifice himself. If you don't forgive them, ako na lang po tanggalin nyo. Inako niya yun, leadership, yung tinatawag natin na yung succession at saka yung accountability. Inangkin niyo yung accountability. Ako na lang po, kung di niyo sila mapapatawad. Ako na lang po ang tanggalin niyo sa aklat na isinulat ninyo. What a leader. Siguro talaga nawawala dun sa mga seniors na, no? Nothing more to prove. I have proven my worth. I have proven who I am. Ganun na. So, nothing more to prove. And mas madali na lang na sabihin, here I am. Take me out of your book. What a leader. Ito na nga. Napag-uusapan natin at talagang isinama ko si Moses, few good men, dahil sa controversial law ngayon na ginawa ni Moses. Isa sa mga controversial law na ginawa ni Moses ay nasusulat sa Deuteronomy chapter 24 at ang kabuuan niyan is about divorce papers or certificate of divorce. Sa verse 1, sinasabi pa lang, suppose a man marries a woman and later decides that he doesn't want her. Parang napaka-generic, ano? Because he finds something about her that he doesn't like. Generic pa rin. Ano bang hindi mo nagustuhan, Moses? So, lahat na lang ba na hindi magustuhan ng lalaki doon sa babae, he writes out divorce papers, gives them to her, and sends her away from his home. So, yung idea, napaka-controversial na law, itong certificate of divorce ni Moses na kung ang isang lalaki finds something about doon sa kanyang asawa, kahit na anumang rason, something about her that he doesn't like, kaya niyang i-send her away, kaya niyang palayasin siya, provided na mayroong certificate of divorce o divorce papers na ibinigay ng lalaki doon sa babae. Para sa ganon, protection din ni babae. One, na pwede siyang maghanap ng iba, and two, na hindi na siya hahabulin ng lalaki nag-issue sa kanya ng certificate of divorce. Let's move on from that. Kaya nga, dahil dito sa very generic at controversial law na law of certificate of divorce, ginamit ng mga Pharisees kay Jesus. The Pharisees asked him, why then did Moses give the law for a man to hand his wife a divorce notice and send her away? The same thing, ano? Yung divorce papers, divorce notice, or yung certificate of divorce na ibinibigay ng lalaki doon sa kanyang asawa and send her away, itong parehong-pareho ang setting. So, sinasabi nila ngayon na yung ibang mga batas daw na ginawa ni Moses, ito kino-question nila si Moses dito na para bang sinasabi nilang, it is not God who gave it, but it was Moses, yung kanyang divorce certificate law or divorce notice. At ang question nila ngayon is, this divorce certificate law or this divorce papers or this divorce notice hindi daw galing sa Diyos, kundi it is from Moses. Kaya ang ini-establish nila ngayon, dahil hindi ito galing mula sa Diyos, na ito ay sariling kaalaman lamang ni Moses, kaya doon ko ni-question ngayon pagdating sa divorce law. Teka nga muna. Pwede kaya yon? Let's look at this. Balikan natin, backtrack tayo ng kaunti. Exodus chapter 18, when Jethro saw everything that what Moses was doing, he asked him, what is all this that you are doing for the people from sunrise to sundown? Ano? Why are you doing this all alone? With people standing here from morning till night to consult you. Hindi lang pala sunrise to sundown, morning until night na nagtatanong ang mga tao doon. Ano kaya tinatanong nila? For sure, kagaya naman dinidil din ng mga preachers ngayon sa Preachers Month natin, ano? For sure, hindi ito mga doctrinal issues. For sure, hindi ito mga bagay-bagay na patungkol sa kalooban ng Diyos, ano ang tamang gawin for particular ceremonial or di kaya ay doon sa pananambahan. Kaya nga, ang answer ni Moses in verse 15, Moses answered, I must do this because the people come to me to learn God's will. God's will on what, Moses? Wala pa namang ibang mga batas patungkol sa kung saan-saan, patungkol sa worship. Wala pang doctrinal issues about that. Patungkol sa pagbibehave. So it must have been how to run a family. It must have been, karamihan doon ay family disputes or marital disputes. Maaaring mali ako, pero malaki ang possibility na marital disputes and family disputes ang pinag-uusapan dito. When two people have a dispute, they come to me and I decide which one of them is right. And I tell them God's commands and laws. So ang sinasabi pala ni Moses ay commands and laws of God. So what are those commands and laws, Moses? So ang dami nun, very generic din. Then si Jethro, sabi ni Jethro sa kanya, you're not doing this right. Moses, mali ka doon. You will wear yourself out and these people as well. This is too much for you to do alone. Kaya marapat, Moses, sa dinami-dami na mga pinoproblema mo is that kailangang bigyan mo sila ng magandang advice. 19, here is now Jethro's advice. Now let me give you some good advice. And knowing Jethro is priest of Midian, God will be with you. It is right for you to represent the people before God and bring their disputes to Him. Andun pa rin yung pagsangguni, andun pa rin yung pagtatanong, Lord, ano po bang kalooban mo dito? Lord, what is your will dito sa dalawang nag-aaway na to? Lord, ano po bang kalooban ninyo sa dalawang hindi magkasundong ito? Verse 20, yan yung maigi. You should teach them God's commands. Ano ba mga commands na binigay? Wala pa namang gaanong commands na ibibigay. Chapter 20, ano? Ando dun na yung Torah. Good enough. And then explain to them how they should live and what they should do. Paano mamuhay at ano ang kanilang gagawin. So kung titingnan nyo maigi, ang basis is that even the divorce certificate law, hindi lang Torah at saka Tanakh, kundi even the divorce certificate law ay part noong God's commands, how they should live, what they should do, paano gawin ang mga bagay-bagay na to. Pang hindi lahat ng mga bagay na to ay isasangguni sa Kanya. So kung titingnan natin maigi pala, Moses, what makes Moses busy? It's all about family or marital disputes. Or majority, hindi all dapat, majority of that will be about family or marital disputes. So, ang nakita ni Moses at that time is, give them this particular law. Of course, sumangguni muna sa Panginoon yan. And then, ang mga kagaya nga ng mga ibang mga law na sinasabing God's law is Moses' law. Moses' law is God's law. Dahil galing ang authority comes from God, cascaded down to the people through Moses. Kaya siya ang kanyang mediator. So, sa panahon natin ngayon, kaya ako tinalakay muna si Moses. Mayroong controversial bill sa Pilipinas that was approved May 23 yata yun, 2024. At ito ang sinasabi nilang Absolute Divorce Act or the Bill 9349. In-approve na ito ng Congress, lower house natin sa kanilang third reading. And ito ay na-submit na sa Senado. Kaya nasabi ko, magiging mabilis lang ito sapagkat either kung mag-agree ang Senado sa bill na yan o sa version na yan ng House or ng Congress at wala silang babaguhin, then magiging batas yan. Pero kung sasabihin ng Senado na mayroon silang version at ibabalik pa nila yan, magtatagal ng kaunti ito. So, yung 3 years ko, siguro hindi na aabot ng 3 years ito. Baka next year nga, approve itong bill na to eh. Dahil dito sa bill na to, na ang nakatatak doon is, ang Absolute Divorce Act, Bill 9349, is for unhappy and irreparable marriages. Para daw sa mga hindi na masasaya at yung mga hindi na talaga mapagbate, hindi na talaga mapag-ayos ng mga relationship on which sa tinagal-tagal natin sa ministry, sa tinagal-tagal natin sa mga taong nakakausap natin, may mga nangyayari talagang unhappy and irreparable marriages. Nung kumuha tayo ng pastoral counseling, nung kumuha po tayo ng even counseling, napansin natin tomato. Nakakatuwa nga lang, marami sa mga preachers, pastors, and ministers gustong gamitin yung salitang counseling, samantalang batas din na pinagbabawal na gamitin yung salitang counseling kung hindi ka registered guidance counselor, kung hindi ka RGC. Pero marami mga preachers pagpipilitan talaga para lang maiangat ng kaunti yung katayuan. Meron kaming counseling kanina. For any counseling call, dial or call, ganon. Kaya nga, ngayon, tinatawag ay life coaches. Dahil sa act na to, batas na po yun. Nagbabawal na gamitin yung salitang counseling and counselors. Maliban na lamang kung ikaw ay RGC, maliban na lamang kung ikaw ay RSI, registered psychiatrists, tsaka psychologists. So, this bill na nakasubmit na ngayon sa Senado is for unhappy and irreparable marriages. Kaya nagkakaroon siya ng, hindi matawarang controversy sa mga Christians. May mga pabor, may mga hindi pabor, may mga nagagalit at may mga nagsasabing, good, hinihintay natin yan. Or may mga, ang ilan is talaga namang handa ng kanilang mga argumento with their book, chapter, and verses. And I was hoping na sana magkakaroon talaga ng magandang talakayan about this. As of late, ang nakapapansin ko at nakikita ko lang ay may mga pastors, Christians, ministers, and preachers na nagpipilit talaga dito sa nabasa nila na God hates divorce. Malakay chapter 2 verse 16 wherein God says, I hate divorce. At nagsasabihin, you cannot get any clearer than that. Maliwanag daw na ang Diyos galit sa diborsyo. Given. And I must say, given. Says the Lord God of Israel, I hate it when one of you does such a cruel thing to his wife. So, ayun na naman ang argumento, no? It is a cruel thing to do to your wife na i-divorce. Tutuloy po natin to next week. Make sure that you do not break your promise to be faithful to your wife, yung covenant, because ang marriage is a lasting or a lifetime covenant between you and your wife. Kaya nga, till death do us part. Or whatever, what God therefore hath put together, let no man put asunder or let no man separate. So ando dun yon. Alam po natin itong bersikulong ito. Pero yung sabihin mo from this particular verse na no divorce at all sa Biblia, then you're wrong. Then you're wrong. Lantaran ko ngayon sasabihin, mali ang paniniwala na no divorce at all. Dahil sa Biblia, makakakita po tayo ng isa o dalawa na mga grounds for divorce. Bibigyan ko kayo ng parallel thought. Just para makita niyo yan. God hates divorce. Though He hates divorce, He allowed Moses to issue certificate of divorce. Para sa ganon, mabawasan yon. Para sa ganon, hindi maabuso yon. Pero why will you question yung certificate of divorce dahil lang sa God hates divorce? No word na sasabihin mong no divorce at all. I'll give you a parallel thought to that. God hates sin. You cannot get any clearer than that. Yet God provided a way out of that when He provided forgiveness of sins. So kung God hates divorce, wala na bang divorce ang mangyayari? No divorce at all? Nung sabihin mong God hates sin, so wala na bang forgiveness at all? Kasi parallel lang yan, ha? So one need to think. Kailangan makapag-isip ang isa bago ka pagdimlan ng paniniwala mo na sasabihin, nabasa ko to, God hates divorce. The same thing, sinasabi ni Ronnie Cariaga sa'yo, mababasa mo rin, God hates sin. Eh di mananatili na sana siyang distance sa sin o mananatili na sana siyang hindi niya gagawan ng paraan para magkaroon ng kasagutan ang kasalanan na yan. Yet alam po nating lahat-lahat that God, through His Son, provided a way out from that sin by making Him sin for us. Could it be on the same argument that God hates divorce and He allowed Moses to issue certificate of divorce para sa ganon maibsan matawaran? And for that matter, sin thoughts po natin para sa susunod na linggo are these things. Matthew chapter 19 po, paulit-ulit yan at may mga iba't iba tayong idea sa bagay na yan. Kaya ang sin thought natin is, does our law, tingnan nyo maigi, hindi lang law ni Moses na yun, our law, the Tanakh. Does our law allow a man to divorce his wife for whatever reason he wishes? And then the answer is this. Sabi ni Jesus, whoever divorces his wife, ang tanong nila, for whatever reason he wishes, di ba? Whatever reason, pwede lahat-lahat. Jesus made an exemption, except for sexual immorality. Mula sa malapad na pagkakaintindi about divorce, ang sabi ni Jesus, ito yung clause. Exception clause for divorce, except for sexual immorality. And marries another, commits adultery. Magandang usapan to. From generic, naging specific ang Panginoon. Mula sa whatever reason he wishes, a man wishes that he could divorce his wife, ang sabi lang ni Jesus, no, you're wrong. Except, isa lang ang exemption, sexual immorality. Ibinigay niya yan. Ang second na exemption niyan, or second na basis of divorce, mapag-uusapan natin sa mga darating na pagkakataon. Kasi ang ilan, ito lang nakikitang bersikulo. Pero may ibang bersikulo pa po na nagpapayag or nag-a-advocate or sabihin natin na pinag-uusapan ang divorce. Kaya yung mga alagad noong panahon na yon, the disciples said to him, kung yan din lang naman at hindi namin pwedeng i-divorce ang aming mga asawa for whatever reason we wish, then kawawa naman ang tao, kawawa naman si lalaki. If such is the case of a man with his wife, it is better not to marry. Hahabulin natin yung salitang it is better not to marry sometime next week. So magiging maganda pag-uusap na ito. Pwede ba magdiborsyo o hindi? So, wanted few good men na maging honest to deal with this issue head on. Yan po ang hamon, ang paanyaya ng inyong kapatid. Muli, ito po si Jose Ronnie Perez Cariaga. Umaasa at babasahin ko yung lahat-lahat ng mga isusulat ninyo or lahat-lahat ng mga comments ninyo dito sa broadcast na ito at pag-uusapan po natin to. Again, ulitin natin, few good men.